Now, my friend. My topic is to help each and every one of us to see through the eye of a seer. And to be able to do that, we have to put ourselves in a certain psychological mode. I'm not going to ask you to recite any mantra, but please put yourself in a situation of mind that you'll be able to experience some of the things going on. First of all, I would like each and every one of you, regardless of your age, to think back some 40, 45 years ago. This is not how to do it. Yeah, this is 45 years ago. And the Baha'i faith is still relatively unknown. A lot of people still don't know anything about Baha'i faith. There are a couple of believers all over, here and there. And we remember very well the beloved Master Abu Baha had just visited this country a couple of years ago. And while he was here, he laid the foundation stone of the house of worship that we all know and admire very much today. The construction of that Baha'i house of worship is going on currently. But, you know, there are still problems in raising money because the number is still very few. But the spirit is very high. So the construction continues. Bear in mind the number of believers that we have 45 years ago and how much they were able to do to be able to complete the construction of the house of worship as it is today. The National Treasurer's Office was almost non-existent, besides the fact that we have the treasurer of the National Spiritual Assembly and one other worker by the name of Loretta Bowles. That is all we have in the treasurer's office. This is 45 years ago. Remember that. Now, in that office, everything is still being done manually. There are still only a couple of checks coming in. And, you know, there are no computers. So, you know, everything is fine. This is going to be a very hard one. Because now we're going to shift our gear a little bit. And in the process of shifting that gear, we're going to jump a little bit. Now, get ready. We are going to the year 2044. Oh. During this year 2044, the NSA budget is $500 million. Last year's goal was $400 million, but we achieved it. We exceeded it. Even by the 15th month of the Baha'i year, we made it. Hey, maybe we can beat that this year. Let's try it. Of course, this year, 2044, there's something different about it. Because none of us can remember any of those perennial old questions fact that this money is not necessarily contributed for a specific pet project of our own, for buying bricks to build things, or for buying paint to do that, or for buying any of the equipment that is used in carrying all the dirt from one spot to another in the World Center. We know that no matter what the money is spent for, we are building the world order of Baha'u'llah, and that is the most important thing. Even the idea of, earmarking the funds is becoming, less popular, because we just feel ahead. Let the institution feel free to spend the money whichever way they feel. They know best where it is hurting the most. There's an African proverb. It says, when you give a ram for sacrifice, you let go of the rope. We have also to recognize the wonderful privilege that we have as Baha'is to be able to contribute to the fund itself. It is very unique. It is not open to everybody. A lot of people do send checks, and they send it back to them. One of the very interesting things that I have noticed working in the Treasury Office is the amount of checks that come from Baha'is who do not have administrative rights. It's almost like they're begging, because each one will always come with a note attached to it, on an index card, on a little piece of paper, talking about their joy in doing this, but we can't take it. Now, let us go back and think of that house of worship that was constructed. We know that it has been all constructed, everything is fine. But the house of worship as it is now is just the nucleus of an institution by itself. Now, this year, 2044, the house of worship is functioning as a full-fledged institutional as it is supposed to be. So we have Baha'i colleges, Baha'i universities, a nursing house for the aged, medical facilities, all surrounding the house of worship that we all know. That is the way it is supposed to be, and that is what is going to happen. Now, a couple of years ago, that is a couple of years ago from today, 2044, WLGI became an international radio station, sending messages, TV programs to all the countries of the world. Hey, we're doing pretty good. Greenlake is a Baha'i city, a very big city. Very good, you're been there now. And 95% of the population of Greenlake are Baha'is. And of course, Greenlake now has, the Greenlake Baha'i University now has an enrollment of how many? 50,000. That's pretty good. And of course, the remaining construction of all the other buildings on the ark has been completed. We have made it. And the Baha'i World Center has now become the #1 tourist attraction in that country. Everybody goes there. Okay. Today is September 17, 1988. We're coming back now. Okay? Where do we stand today? We have almost 130 120,000 Baha'is that we have registered so far. And out of that 120,000, believe it or not, over 60,000 of them still have addresses unknown. For goodness sake, where are they? Do you know any? That leaves us with about 55,000 to work with. And out of that 55,000, 7,000 of them are given regularly to the Baha'i National Fund. 7,000. That's not bad. But when you compare that to 55,000 and probably even more to 120,000, we still have a long way to go. By the end of the Baha'i year, we would have got at least between 13 and 14,000 Baha'is who would have given at least once to the fund. So there's a difference there between those who give regularly and those who give at least once. So the number becomes a little larger. What are we going to do? This year, the National Spiritual Assembly has set a goal, as they always do. And the goal is to raise at least $6.5 million to spend internally within the United States. That is lower than what they spent last year. It is at least $1.3 million lower. And the reason why they did that is simply because there is this wonderful feeling among everybody that we want to construct all those buildings on the ark. Let us do it. The Universal House of Justice has asked us to put aside all our minor concerns because this is the priority. Let us think about that. What are we going to do to make it? Just a couple of weeks ago, as a matter of fact, during the feast of August 1, we received a letter from the Treasurer's Office specifically stating that the financial situation of the National Spiritual Assembly is very dire. That we must do something to turn things around, otherwise we're going to be in a real big trouble. Now, that is probably the least they can say. We don't want to be like we're appealing to your emotions. We don't do that. We want you individually to please read the writings, deepen yourself, increase your love for Baha'u'llah, and you will begin to see from that that this gift of religion, as Najla just put it, is a gift to you and to me. It is not something that we can question and say, hey, what is this? We have the writings. And we're supposed to read them. Please let us do that. There are a couple of other things that we can do. Because our emphasis now, and probably for the next few years, is going to be on teaching. There are some things that we need to be aware of in teaching, some of the mistakes that we made along the way that we don't want to repeat. Now, we all know money is a very touchy issue. You don't want to raise it until it raises its heart or its ugly head. Now, in the process of teaching, please, we want you to be the one who brings up the question of contributing to the faith. If you don't bring it up, the sister will probably not ask you. And you probably feel safer. No. Let's bring it up. Because it is never going to be a free ride. There is a job that we had in the Treasurer's Office. It was a job, I suppose it was spoken or written by Freddie Sharpflusher. I believe that's his name. Sharpflusher. Thank you. He was a hand of the cause of God. And he said, when I first came across the Baha'i faith, I told myself, Freddie, don't get involved. This is going to cost you a fortune. He concluded that joke. He said, I did, and it did. Now, as we all partake in the process of laying our own individual bricks in the building of the Baha'i world order, we need to go along with all of our other friends. Help each other. This faith is about loving. This faith is about unity. Not just your individual unity, it is unity for the whole world. We're talking of the world peace now. And we cannot do that if as a community we cannot even get together to do many of the things that we need to do. I suppose right now we can see a little bit through the eyes of the seer. We have seen the past, we have imagined the future, and we are now coming to reality. We have seen our present condition. How are we going to do it? That is the question for you, and as you go along from now through this convention, and I hope and pray we have a very inspiring convention. Please let us try and keep in mind what are we going to do to make sure that we smoothly go from where we are now to where we want to be in 2044. I am very sure we're going to make it. Baha'u'llah promised us. Abdu'l-Baha promised us. Shukri Effendi repeated it several times in his writings. It is up to every one of us to answer that question. And God will help you. Thank you very much.